Hello, this is Ivan from watchandlearn.com, and in this episode we're continuing the WordPress workflow series. So in the last episode we set up our local environment, installed WordPress. I showed you some options you have for setting up your local environment, and I showed you what I used. So in this episode I'm going to show you my development process. Also, we're not going to go into details here. I'm just going to show you the tools I'm using, themes I'm using, and applications I'm using for developing WordPress. Actually, I'm a front-end developer, so mostly I develop themes and I do a little bit of coding. So as I am a front-end developer, the first thing I'm going to do when I install my WordPress is I'm going to install a theme on it. So, but not just any theme. As you can see, we have our dashboard here. We have our site right here, testsite.dev, and it's using 2015 theme. I don't know. I think it's called that. Okay, we have 2015 theme. Okay, and so I'm going to install my theme on it. And my theme is called Olympos. It's on GitHub. You can download it if you want to use it. So what is this theme? This is just a starter theme. So you practically don't have any styles in it. There's nothing to show for it. You will see when I install it. It's an empty theme. I'm using this process because when starting a WordPress site, actually WordPress theme, you always have to do some things. You have to make your style CSS, you have to name your theme, you have to set up a header, footer, and so on for your theme to work as it should. So I have this starter theme. It has practically nothing in it, but it's a good way to start developing. So you can go to GitHub, Olympos, and download the zip file of this theme. We're going to install it now, so I'm going to go to my test site, themes, and I'm going to save it right here. Okay, now I'm going to go to forklift, I'm going to go to themes, and I'm going to make a directory or a folder called Olympos right here. All my themes are always named the same, so I'm not using let's say a name of a site for a name of my theme. All of them are named the same and they're called Olympos, so it's easy for me to switch between projects. So that's one more reason why I'm using this starter theme, so I always know where stuff in the theme are. So Olympos. Okay, and I'm just going to copy everything from this zip file right in here. Okay, now we have our theme set up. We just have to turn it on. I'm just going to refresh this page. Okay, as you can see, I have Olympos 2. It's actually second version of this theme, and I'm going to activate it. Get ready to get your mind blown by this theme. Okay, this is it. So all you have, this is hello world. This is Olympos theme with Sass Campus support. It should also say Gulp J'S support since the newest version, but never mind. So all you have in this theme is this. I'm going to walk you a little bit through the theme and what it consists of. Of course, you can make your own custom starter theme the way you like it. You could use mine just as easily. I think it's a good starting point for any WordPress project. Okay, so first of all, what I'm going to do is create a project in my Sublime Text. I just like to do it that way. So I'm going to open up Sublime. I'm going to go add folder to project, and I'm going to say test site, open. Okay, and I'm going to save my project. Save project as. I save all my projects in a folder called projects, not in the actual folder of the project. I don't know, it just makes sense to me that way, so I'm going to call it test site. I'm saving my projects because I usually have to move between them, so if I want to go to, I don't know, TZ Versal project, I can just go to it. So test site, I can just go to that project. Okay, so this is my workflow with Sublime Text. I create a project. Of course, let's talk about Sublime Text. So for development, since this is a development episode, I'm using Sublime Text 3. It's a great code editor. I suggest you buy it. You can use it for free actually, but it's going to have some pop-up messages while you're using it every time you save something. Actually, every few times you saved something is going to pop out a window. But I bought my copy, and I think I would recommend you buy it also, so you can support the development of this great code editor. It's really great. So let's see what I'm using for the plugins. So let's go remove package, just to show you what I'm using right here. So I'm using Emmet for quickly developing HTML code and CSS code. Then I'm using Ghost Text. So Ghost Text is a plugin that you can go to WordPress and, let's say, edit in your editor in WordPress. So you install this plugin here in Sublime Text and install a plugin for Chrome. And when you click in a text area, it's going to switch you over to Sublime Text. I can actually show you. So if we go here and we go posts, all posts, click on Hello World. So if you wanna add some mad HTML code right here, you should do like this, and it's not very good. So what you can do is you can turn on Ghost Text and click right in here, and the Sublime Text will open, and you can use Emmet and all the plugins you have in it to write your code. As you can see, this code is copied right over here. Okay, so that's for that. Okay, we have Emmet, Ghost Text, GIST. GIST, I'm just using it for my snippets, my code snippets, so that I can automatically upload them to github.com. Got a color, shows the color on the left side of the window that you're using in your HTML, in your CSS. Haiku is a tool for writing CSS faster. Hopscotch color scheme is a color scheme. I have less here. I'm not using it anymore, but I have it. Of course, package control, resource viewer. Plain tasks is a plugin for making to-do lists in Sublime Text. Of course, I've got SCSS, color coding, Seri UI, that's theme, SFTP if I need to FTP something quickly to my server, but I'm not using this anymore so often. So I have Sidebar Enhancements. It's a plugin to get the right click. When you right click something, you get these options right here. Okay, so we have liquid syntax. Okay, that's for liquid language. Smarty syntax, theme, Twig syntax, and these are code snippets for WordPress. So you can just go loop, and you can have WordPress loop right here. Okay, so these are my plugins. This is Sublime Text, and let's talk about this Olympos theme. Okay, so Olympos themes comes with a few files. So you have Sass files, actually Sass partials. So you have it for Flex Slider. I integrated Flex Slider into this theme because everybody wants sliders for some reason, so I'm using Flex Slider to develop my sliders. You have fonts. These are just some fonts, sizes and margins. You have a footer which is empty. You have globals. You should put your global things in this partial. So you have a header, it's also empty. You have a home page, it's also empty. You have some mixins. Okay, these mixins are actually great. So since everything is responsive now, this mixin right here is used for making widths or height, actually just widths. You don't want to make height quote unquote responsive. So this mixin is used for defining widths in percentages. So you would go just like this. Let's say we have some container right here, and we would just write width and go CP, and we would write, actually let's just call it a box, because container is usually top level element. So we just want this box to be 200 pixels, but we also want it for that width to be displayed or defined in percentages. So we would go 200 pixels, and we would here after this comma we would define the width of the parent element. So if the parent element is container and it's 960 container, 960 pixels, 960, we would get some width right here in percentages. I don't know by heart how much is it, but we can check it out. So we can save this. So as you can already see, this theme uses CSS or Sass. So I'm going to go to my sites, and I'm going to test site content themes Olympos. Okay, I'm compiling my Sass with Compass, so I'm just going to do Compass watch and wait just a second. Okay, so my Sass is compiled. As you can see, we have this style CSS. This is, if we go to header file, we're calling that CSS right here. So import blog info style sheet URL. Okay, so we're calling that file right here, and it's this file. So it's it's pure vanilla CSS file, and as you can see, it also has this. So to make any theme in WordPress, you would have to have this in your CSS file, and it's called style CSS. So this is the theme name, description, version name, author name, and so on. Okay, so as you can see, we have a lot of things right here because we are calling these partials right here. So we have our fonts, as I've shown you before. We have our reset file, reset CSS, and let's see where we made this in mixins. Just a second, after Flex Slider. Okay, let me just find it by box. Okay, so as you can see, this mixin, or actually this is a function, this is not a mixin. This mixin did this, so we said that the width should be CP 200 pixels, 960 pixels, but it compiled to 20.83333%. So as you can see, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decimal points. So that's a great thing. Another great thing is this rem function. So I can define font size in rems, but by just using pixels. So usually you get the design in Photoshop and you don't have ems or rems in there, so you can just go 18 pixels, save it, and compass should be working now. As you can see, we have font size is 1.125 rems. Okay, so these are just some helpers. Also, you can use media queries. These are mixins. So let's say I'm going to use media query for tablets. So I'm just going to go in box and say I accidentally turned my screen flow off because I wanted to do a add sign. Okay, so I'm going to be a little bit careful with it. So to do a media query, as you can see, I'm in this box selector and I'm just going to do include, and let's say tablets, and now I write my media queries right here. Save it. As you can see, this compiles to box and then media query screen and max width dot box width and so on. I'm developing it this way because now I have my media queries in my selector, so I don't have to have separate file and go between files and search for it and so on. I just have my media queries right here. So if I want to make another media query for the box, I just go include and fonts. And that's it. Save it. And as you can see, we get this. So this may not be so readable in this CSS file, but it's pretty much very well readable in this SCSS file. But you don't care about this file. Actually, after I done everything, I minimized this file to be totally unreadable. Okay. So we have reset CSS, sidebar CSS, it's empty, variables, you can define your variables here, and I have this main style.css, which includes all of these files right here into the mix. So I have some setup files, I have vendor files for flex slider, and I have WP parts. Okay. That's header, homepage, sidebar, footer. As you can see, I don't even have a page.php here or a single or something like that. You have to add that yourself. After that, we can go through these files. So we have 404 page. I have config rb for my compass. I have fav icon, footer PHP is just this, and it includes Olympos.min.js. So all of these files right here, so these JS files will be compiled into this one file as they are now, and they're going to be compiled by Gulp J'S. So before we go to Gulp J'S, I just want to go through all these other files. So we have functions PHP. You just have jQuery support, you have menu support for your theme, you have post thumbnails, featured images support, you have different image sizes support. I'm not using any of them right now. You have this excerpt function, which you may need sometimes, and just 2 sidebars, and that's it. After that we have header PHP, which you already saw, nothing special there. We have iStyles, CSS. Of course we have iStyles.css.map. This is used so I can go right here. Let's just make something in the header, let's say box hello, and save it. Refresh this page. Okay, we have this hello right here. As you probably remembered, we did something in the mixins for this box. So if I go and open my developer tools and go to this div box hello, as you can see, I'm not getting a style.css and line. This is on, but I'm getting a SCSS file. So it's in mixins on line 48, width and font size. So that map.css files is actually telling Chrome where he can find these selectors. So actually Chrome is telling me where this code is actually physically present. So it's in mixins.scss. Okay, so that's it. The other thing I want to show you, so in my development process I'm using Gulp J'S for compiling, live reloading and so on. I'm actually not using that much. As you can see, this is a very short Gulp J'S file. I'm not going to talk about Gulp J'S. You will have a link to it in the show notes or on my website. But it's used to help you develop your sites. So it does some things. It does some simple functions, so you don't have to. So one of the functions this file does is using this uglify.js. So what it does, it's looking in lib folder for all JS files, and then it uglifies them or minimizes them, and it minimizes them to Olympos.min.js file, which is this one, and then it saves it to a JS folder, and from footer.php it's called, that file is called. So okay, let me just open it up. Okay, so why am I doing this? I'm doing this so that my site would be more optimized. So the site will be quicker if it has to load less files. So instead of loading all these files, 1, 2, 3, 4, it will load just one file. So it will make just one HTTP request. So by that you're making your site faster. Also these Sass partials, at the end when I push my site to deployment, when I deploy my site to a live server, I will have just one CSS file. All of these files are just here to make organization of this theme much better for me. So I have little chunks of CSS code, and all those little chunks convert into this one big chunk. But I don't ever open this file. I don't need to. I just open these little files or these little files, and especially I don't open this file because it's unreadable. Okay, so let me just show you how Gulp works. So I'm going to I'm just putting this compass in the background, so I'm going to open it, and it's a process ID, okay. So compass is started now, and I'm going to start my Gulp watch. So as I've said, this Gulp file, Gulp JS, actually does two things in my setup. It minifies all the JS files, and it does live reload. So once I get this started, so I started this Gulp JS by typing Gulp watch, and as you can see, live reload server is listening on this port. So I have on my Chrome, I have installed live reload server, and we can do something with it. We can go to our, let's say, index file and put a container around this text, and call it container, and say hello world. Actually, just remove this text, say hello world, go here. As you can see, everything changes instantly, so maybe it would be better to show it this way. So I'm going to put it right here. So it's a live reload. So if I say hello world and save it, hello to you too, and just save it, as you can see, the text automatically changes. I have this hello text in my header. Okay, I'm going to delete it. The same thing happens if I go, since I got my compass.js running. So if I go to globals and do container, and let's say 960 pixels, and do margin 40 auto, and let's say padding 20 pixels, and background is this. Save it, and as you can see, this automatically something is not right. 40 pixels. It automatically changes, so I don't have to refresh the page every time I do something. I just do it, press save, and then I have this. Okay, I usually have my browser open on another space. Okay, so that's it. So this is the way I use, and these are the technologies I use in my development. So I have Sass. You can read about Sass. I'm not going to explain it to you right here. You have Gulp J'S. You have this Olympos theme, and I'm using it all together with Sublime Text to develop my themes. Once my themes are finished, I'm going to show you how to deploy this to either your staging server or your development server or your production server, and we're going to do that in the next episode. If you like this video, please like it below. You can follow me on Twitter and on Facebook, and if you could like this channel, please subscribe to it. I hope you're learning something about your own workflow, and that you can incorporate some steps I'm using in your own workflow. Till next time, bye.